What's up, y'all? Look, I'm going to talk about today a trap that I see way too many people falling for. All right. I'm really going to put you guys on game. I'm going to bring it back to the 1980s when fat was demonized. All right. It was a big marketing campaign, and they started to make a lot of like low fat versions of food. In the 90s and 2000s, and even 2010s, and you'll see this up till today, carbs have been the next victim, in this cycle. And the big trend that I'm seeing now is that companies are going to try to tell you that you're not eating enough protein, and they're going to try to sell you some slop. If you're on the internet and you're on social media, you're going to see this everywhere. All right. High protein recipe, new high protein version of all of these different foods. It's everywhere. It's all anybody is talking about. And while protein is extremely essential on a fat loss phase and just for maintaining any amount of lean mass on your body, a lot of these sources are just not going to be ideal. These companies are banking on you looking for shortcuts and not reading nutrition labels or having any prior knowledge of nutrition in any type of way. Legally, there's been a loophole that's been found that if one serving of said food provides you 10 to 20% of your recommended daily value for protein, they're legally allowed to slap that sticker on the front of the box. That's going to catch your attention every time you're walking down the aisle. Now, the problem with this is that the daily recommended value is 50 grams. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that that is utter nonsense. 50 grams would be good for a prepubescent child, or a toddler maybe, but as a full grown ass man, you should be striving to hit, or grown woman, you should be striving to hit 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, or again, like lean body mass. If you're 300 pounds, you're not going to be eating 300 grams of protein a day. So a lot of foods have not been modified in any way, and companies are just using this new loophole to kind of market them as high protein to sell them. They're also going to upcharge the product, compared to the one that doesn't have the high protein label on it. And again, some of the stuff is not modified in any way, but a lot of these foods have been modified. They've added, different soy or plant protein. Plant protein is usually the thing that you'll see the most. And while on the label and on paper, you'd think, okay, well, I'm getting all this extra protein in. The problem is that these are all incomplete plant proteins that are going to do nothing for muscle hypertrophy. They're not going to help you repair lean tissue that you've broken down in the gym. You're not building any fucking muscle with this stuff. Now, protein is comprised of different amino acids, and there's 9 essential amino acids. And the one that we're going to talk about today is leucine. And all of these plant proteins and collagen proteins that they're adding to this food do not contain leucine. And that's the amino acid that's responsible for muscle protein synthesis. So essentially, you're adding in all these extra calories with no benefit because you're not building muscle with this stuff. And it's cutting into your calorie budget, so you're not getting good, proper sources of carbs and proper sources of healthy fats throughout the rest of your diet. So realistically, we have to just learn how to dodge these foods and stick to the essentials. We can't be looking for shortcuts, and we can't be looking for the lazy way out. Go back and watch my previous video. I talked about all the proper protein sources that you should have in your diet, the tried and true animal proteins, from fish, beef, eggs, chicken, even dairy products like Greek yogurt, whey protein, things like this. That is what you're going to want to be sticking to. Stop trying to find, altered versions of the foods that you like to binge on. They're not actually optimal. You're not getting any benefit from this stuff. Let's look at like pasta, for instance. All right. A whole grain pasta is actually going to be a pretty decent source of fiber, depending on the brand and all of that. If you're opting for, some pasta that is made with plant proteins that your body's not going to even absorb, you're missing out on some of these other key nutrients that you need in your diet. All right. And so when you're on a cut, these carb sources are so critical because we got to make sure that we've got as much energy as possible. If you don't have enough energy, how the hell are you supposed to train properly and build any muscle to begin with? So, when you opt for this stuff, it's a double-edged sword because you don't have the energy to even train hard, and then the stuff that you're filling in these gaps with is not actually doing anything to help you get stronger, build muscle, and improve your physique. Now, I've tried a lot of these foods. All right, I like to try stuff like this. However, I'm getting my fiber from fruits, vegetables. I'm getting protein from real lean animal protein sources. So I'm not relying on this stuff to supplement that. I just like trying some of this food. 80% of the time I'm doing the right thing. So I want to go over a couple of the foods that I tend to see a lot of people eating and just explain why they're probably not the most optimal thing for you guys to be consuming. So the first food that I want to talk about, and this is probably, the best of the examples that I'm going to give, would be like your protein pastas. Now, a lot of this stuff is made from chickpeas or it's lentil based, which is good. It's still not the most complete protein that you're going to want to be, like aiming for. You still got to stick to the proper sources, but this stuff is high in fiber and it is extremely nutrient dense, which is how I can't really shit on it. The problem is, if you eat a whole grain pasta, you're still going to be getting a lot of that fiber as well. And the main issue is that with this, with the protein marketing campaign, you're just going to be paying twice as much for basically the same exact food. Another one that's similar is like Dave's Killer Bread. I'm sure you guys have seen stuff like this. And again, very similar situation as with the pastas. You're just paying double price for, the same exact thing. It's just bread that they've added, different seeds and grains to, which, yes, they do have benefits as good, sources of healthy fat. I can't argue that. You're just taking in way more calories, and the protein that you're adding to this stuff is just not absorbable. And it's not going to help you get stronger. It's not going to help you improve your physique. So again, just opt for something else so that your wallet is not hurting, because you're paying double price for all of this shit that's labeled as high protein when you're really not getting any benefit from it. The next one that I'm going to talk about is the one I really fucking hate, because this one is people looking for shortcuts at the end of the day. That's all this is. Do you guys remember back in the day when you got a protein bar and it tasted like you're eating a stick of chalk? That's because it actually contained almost all whey protein. This stuff now, I'm going to pick on these Built protein bars because that's what I've been seeing a lot on like Instagram reels and these influencers promoting. All right, they have 17 grams of protein. Now, legally, they don't have to disclose what the exact combination of the whey and collagen protein is. And my guess is that it's probably 5 grams of protein come from whey and the rest is from collagen protein that your body has zero use for. So again, this stuff's not building any muscle, guys. It's literally just candy. A third of the calories are coming from sugar. Like, if you take the time to actually read the label and figure out what the hell you're putting in your body, you're going to see this stuff. It's just blatant. Like, I've had them, I have them at the house. It's like a good dessert. They taste fucking amazing, but there's a reason, guys. If it tastes like it's too good to be true, 99.9% of the time it is. There are other protein bars that are going to be almost all whey protein, and you're going to have to kind of hunt these down if that's the route that you're going to go. But you're still going to they're all going to have sugar. They're all going to have, extra calories from fat. So I don't get why you wouldn't just get a tub of pure whey protein isolate and drink that instead. That really is infinitely, it's so much better of an option. I would highly recommend that instead of trying to eat these bars, these candy bars. So yeah, I'm kind of going to leave it there, guys. Don't fall for this trap. Start eating whole foods. These, fucking genetically modified foods are not doing anything for you. I can promise. I've never seen anybody who's absolutely diced up and jacked who just eats nothing but protein bars and Dave's Killer Bread. It doesn't exist. They're eating eggs, they're eating chicken, they're eating beef, they're eating fish, they're eating Greek yogurt, and they're eating whey protein. I can promise you that. So stick to the stuff that is going to work, the tried and true things that we've been doing forever, and you'll start getting the results that you need. And again, fiber is so important in your diet. And I'm going to talk about that in a future video. I'll get a little bit more into depth in as far as that topic goes, but don't opt for something that has protein that your body can't use, and you're going to be sacrificing, more fiber from your diet, which is actually going to help you with a lot of things. So I'll leave it there. New video coming in a couple days. Be on the lookout. Till then, peace.